Hello, everyone. My name is Anastasia, and I'm really glad to welcome you on the practical session where we are going to apply advanced sugar configuration technique to overcome business challenge. This is a new episode of the webinar series in which we reveal the hints on how business challenge could be addressed combining sugar configuration tools, Studio, Sugar BPM, and Logic Builder. So, what we are going to do for today? Today, we will explore how to provide your product inquirer with a quote in a second after they submitted a website request, and also show that there is no need to procrastinate with preparing quotations manually, of course in case when offered products list is totally defined by the form submission. So the task for today is, as soon as the request is received, make Sugar create quote with quote line items and send email to lead right away. We have several steps to perform to reach this aim. First of all, we need to get website requests collected in Sugar as a brand new lead. We did it before numerous ways, so today I'll just employ a regular web-to-lead form to get it done. So I already prepared web-to-lead form and implemented into site. The second step is to clarify whether the collected lead is clearly product related. So qualification rules I'm going to implement with Logic Builder. Also in Studio, I created a few custom fields to be filled on web-to-lead form. Next step is to create quote and quote line items. We will employ Logic Builder for that. And very final step is to send email using some template. And also I'm going to use Logic Builder as well for this. So that is short introduction, and let's go into demo. All I need for today is my browser. So this is our today star, Sugar, the latest version. So also there is a site, and here is my request form. As soon as I provide here all details, there will be a lead here in Sugar. And now we are going to configure what happened next. For this, I'm going to navigate to logicbuilder.integrous.crm.com, sign in because I have an account, and let's create a new project. Let's give it a name like request for quotes, for example. What I need to do next is to import metadata from the Sugar. Now I'm going to use option when I'm going to import metadata using URL. So I copy URL from Sugar, copy, paste, and provide login to Sugar and create new project. Why I'm doing this importing metadata? It allows me in Logic Builder to work with Sugar modules, Sugar fields, including custom one. So whether I create some fields in Studio, I'll be able to work with them here in Logic Builder. The second option to import metadata other than URL is to import by file. So download file in Sugar and upload it here. Actually, we are in and we can start to configure. Logic Builder is a visual designer tool. That means that here now we are going to visual represent our logic. So the creation quote line items, and sending email. I'm going to do this using different operators located here in Toolbox section. Each operator is a small piece of function like create something or save or send email, and combining all these small functions after each other, it will bring me to the whole logic. So let's start. The very first step that is needed is to define a trigger. So when this logic must fires. Our trigger for today is creation of new lead. So for this, I'm going to use operator on data change. I selected it and put into canvas. Let me zoom a little bit, move it, and zoom. So on data change, when something is changed, we need to define where in leads module and when we are going to work, before the record is saved or after it let's define after save. So this is the very first operator, our trigger, when we are going to start to work. Now we need to move to the second step to qualify our lead. Basically, we are going to check whether there is a new lead and it is a product-related lead. When we want to evaluate something, put some conditions, we are using operator branch. So I find it and put it into canvas. It allows to divide logic on two paths, true and false, based on condition that I'm going to define here. Also, there are these white triangle ports, which actually are very important here because they define the order of operators execution. That means that I can link these two operators between each other like this, and that means that after this trigger, when something is changed in lead, we are going to evaluate, and now we are going to build the condition here. So what conditions we have? It's first that lead is new. If we take a closer look on data change, we see that here is output port is new. It's true when record is new and false when not, so quite easy. And the second condition, we need to verify that this is a product-related lead. For my today example, I'm going to use product named Event Management Suite or shortened EMS. So I need to check whether the requested product is EMS. How I'm going to do it? I want to get field from lead and check whether it is EMS. Sounds easy? Let's do this. When I want to get value from field, in field, I use operator get entity attributes. It's empty because I didn't specify entity here. So let's do this. I put lead here and voila, all fields here. And I'm looking for requested product. This is custom field created through Studio. And I want to check whether value in this field is equal to, so I put A equal B, with, let's say, constant EMS. This is the name of my product, Event Management Suite. So I am sure that requested product is EMS and the record is new, so I need to combine two conditions. I put operator AND. So when the record is new and requested product is EMS, that is my condition. So when true, both of them, I will proceed with creating quote. Let's comment this section. So I select all these operators, put comment, and say that when lead is new and request for event management suite. Okay, so we build condition and we can proceed to step 3, create quote. When we want to create something, there is an operator which is called create entity. I put it here and connect with previous operator, with branch from the true path. So I define what I want to create. It's quote, quotes. It is not enough just to create entity. Just in the same way, like in Sugar, when you open some record, you put some values into fields. Let's do this here as well. So there is operator set entity attributes. Again, I link it to the previous operator. I define an entity quote, so I put quote here. And now let's start to fill our quote with values. What we want to fill? First of all, it's subject. What we want to see in subject, let it be some constant value, like, I don't know, RFQ, EMS, something like this. What else we should have? It is quote date, quote expiration date, so valid until. Let's say that we want to set current date. For example, if we set request today, it will be 29th, plus to add some values to date, we use date add. So current date plus, let's say, 5 days. And that is our quote expiration date. Also, we want to define quote stage. So we pick up quote stage. If you recall, quote stage is a drop down in the sugar. So here we are going to use drop down as well. Put it here. It contains all drop downs from the sugar, and we are looking for something named quote stage, and define that we want to set value draft into our quote stage. For example, let's say we want to set payment terms. Again, it is a drop down, so we again use drop down operator. But for now, we are looking for drop down, which is called something with payment terms, related to payment terms. And let's say that it is net 15. What else we want to set? For example, we want to assign this quote to someone. So let's find field that is related to assigned user. There are two fields, assigned user ID and assigned username. We want to set ID of the user, and let's say I want some particular user from all users from sugar, and let's say that let it be Jim. So I put Jim ID in assigned user ID into quote. And very final step to create the quote, we want this quote to be related to lead. There are several ways how we can establish relationship between two records like quotes and leads. In this example, lead may has a lot of quotes, but quote usually relate only to one lead. So there is a lead ID in the quote. Let's find this field. So there are two, again, fields, name and ID. We are looking for ID, and we want to put lead ID here in this field. How can I get it? I need to find lead entity. Where can I find it? If I scroll a little bit back, here leads entity, here I have my lead record. So I want to get ID of this lead. So use get entity attributes, put my lead here and select ID. Then move it somewhere here and put this ID in the quote. So that's it. That is how we set values into fields. And in order to save this record, in the same way as you hit save button in the sugar, here we use operator save entity. So that's it. Create, set values into fields, and save the record. Let's also select all these operators and comment and say that we create quote. Oops, wrong letter. Create quote. Okay, so we created quote, and now it's time to create quote line items for this quote. Prior creation quote line items, I need to say that quote has something named groups. If you remember, there is one default group upon creation of each quote, and also you can add them manually. So we need to create this default group here as well. It sounds more complicated than to do this. So create, we use again create entity. These groups called product bundles. So right, product bundles. We set only one field for this product bundle, and this field is named the default product bundle. It's a checkbox, so it can be only true and false. So I'm going to use Boolean constant and say that it is true and save the record. That is how we create a default group. And what is needed to do, it is to link this default group to quote. And the second way how to establish relationship between two records is to use operator link entities. So I put link entities here as my object entity, let it be quote, and my subject entity is default group in quote. So relationship name is appeared here automatically because there's only one relationship, so it's product bundles relationship. And we get a group. So let me comment this as well and say create default group. Okay, now we have quote, we have default group, time to create quote line items. But prior it, let me show you something. For this, I return to sugar. I'm going to show you product catalog. So for this, I am create quote, and please pay attention on the right side, product catalog dashboard. You see there is a category named EMS, Event Management Suite, because there are 3 products here. And when I'm going to create quote, I want it with 3 quote line items, each one. Need to do viewer, quick informer, and timeline viewer. So when this quote and quote line item will be created automatically, I want to see all these quote line items here. 3, not 1. That means for each product with category EMS, I'm going to create quote line item, link to group, and link to quote. And these steps should be performed 3 times. And this is a perfect place for loop, because when something is repeated several times, that is where cycles play its role. So let's return to Logic Builder and do what I just said. First of all, we need to get all products from category EMS. When I want to find something using attributes, there is operator. Let me zoom a little bit. Retrieve entities by attributes. It's very similar on how you perform search in Sugar when you open list view of some module, and by using filters, filter out the list of records. It's very same manner. So I define a module which is product catalog, and I define a filter in this case, or actually it's field from the entity from product catalog. And I'm looking for category name, which is EMS, and put it here. As a result, on the right side, I will have in entities all products that have category EMS. Entities number will be 3, for example, because there are 3 products, and single entity to pick up just only 1 entity. But I'm not interested in only 1. I want all products to be added to the quote. So we should start build our cycle. For cycle, there is operator for each entity. So I put firstly on canvas, connect with previous one operator, and define on which entities I want to build cycle. So pick up products here and put it here. Anything that we are going to build here in loop body will be repeated as many times as there are entities here. So we have 3 products for EMS. That means that each step in loop body will be repeated 3 times. So let's do this. Let's create quote line items. Again, I'm going to use create entity here in loop body. I'm going to create quote line items. I'm going to set entity attributes. That means I will define values in fields for my quote line items. And let's start fill fields with values. First of all, we want to set product. So field product template ID. Where can I get my product? Here in for each entity. Here in output, I will have current product from cycle. So from the first run, for example, it will be timeline viewer. So I will have this product here. On the next run, it will be need to do viewer, and so on. So let's get an ID of this product here, product from product catalog, and ID. Put it into quote line item. Then we define the name of quote line item, and let's just copy the product name from the product catalog. Also, there is need to define the price, of course. So we pick up unit price from in QLI, and we want to set it by unit price from product catalog. Also, these products are services, so we want to copy services fields from product catalog as well. There are several fields. First one, it is checkbox service, and we are going to copy it from the product catalog as well. Also, there are two fields, which is service duration value and service duration unit, like 12 months or 1 year, like this. This value are defined in product catalog as well. So I'm going to just copy it from the product catalog to the quote line item. Next service field, it is renewable. It's also checkbox that is defined in the product catalog, and I can copy it as well. One field I cannot copy from the product catalog, and this is service start date. Let's say that we want that in quote that service start date for product is, again, some calculations here, current date plus so date add, and let's say it be 3 days. Okay, so current date plus 3 days, it's our service start date. Service end date will be calculated automatically, and you will see during demo. So what we have forgot, obviously important parameter, it is quantity. Each product is sold by, let's say, per user, and number of users is defined by lead on the website. So this parameter I can get from lead. For this, again, I'm using get entity attributes. It's empty, so I have to define lead here. Where can I get my lead? Again, we need to scroll back on the very beginning of our logic, because here is place where I can pick up lead. So I get lead record here and scroll here. And there is field number of users, and put it into quantity in quote line item. Let me move it a little bit. Also, one more thing, that when all these products in category EMS are sold together, we provide a discount. So let's define it in quote line item. So discount amount will be, let's say, 20% on each product. Obviously, when all they are from this category are sold together. So we defined all necessary fields, I believe. Let's save our quote line item. Also, we save this record, and we need to put this quote line item in the quote. Again, we are going to use some links. I put operator link entities, where my object entity will be default group. Let's scroll back here. This is place where I created product bundle and related to the quote. So I pick up product bundle, put it here, and link quote line item to default group. And in the same way, I need to link quote line item to the quote. So let's return a little bit back to find our quote. Here it is in object entity. This is my quote. I put it here, and quote line item here. So actually that's it about creation quote line items. Let's again comment all this and say create quote line item, quote line items, because let's take a closer look once more. We get all products from the product catalog where category name is EMS. I already showed you that there are 3 products. So we will have 3 products here. and start work with each separately. For example, first one, timeline viewer product here, create quote line item, put first product timeline viewer there, link to default group, link to quote. That is the last element. So flow returns to the operator here for each entity. Are there any elements here in the start? Yes, there is need to do viewer. Repeat the same steps, create quote line item, then the last one product, and when flow run out of elements here, it go to the completed path. What we have after create quotes, quote line items, we need to send email. So let me zoom out and put sending email. For this, there is one operator named send email. So let me put it into canvas, a little bit upper. We need a space here. So let's take a look. From address, from name, let's leave it empty. So system default outbox will be used. To address, to name, we need to get from lead, email address, and name. So we use get entity attributes, put it here. Again, we need to specify lead here. Let's zoom out and pick up lead. Again, I have lead only here at the very beginning. So I pick up it and get this red link here. So what I'm looking for, it's email 1 into 2 address. Also, I want the name, so it will be first name and last name. And I want to combine these two, this first name and last name into one line. And when we want to combine two strings between each other, it's possible to use concatenate strings like first name, space, just one space. I put it here, one space, and last name. And put it here to name. This CC address we leave empty. Subject, let's define it here. Something's easy like RFQ EMS. And text. Obviously, we can put some text here, but it's too easy. So I've prepared template, a quote template into Sugar. Let me show you quickly. So I don't need this quote. Bye-bye. Let's go to LB templates. This is extension where where you can create templates. So let me scroll a little bit down. So here, this is the body of our future email, like dear, thank you for your inquiry, and so on. And below there is a quote with some values from quote, like price, to whom this quote, and so on. And probably you notice these variables like salesperson, title, phone. All these variables are defined here, and now we are going to fill these variables with values combining from different entities like quote, quote line items, and so on. Let's do this. So let's go to Logic Builder, and to use template, there is operator get HTML text from template, and let me put it here. And this HTML, the result of processing template, we are going to put into email text. Here it's needed to pick up a template, which is quote template. That is template that I've just showed you. And let's start filling our parameters. What we have first one, name. It's like dear and who placed request. I already combined first name and last name, and it suits here perfectly. So I put it here. What we have next is salesperson, and two more title and phone. It's for signature in email. Who is assigned to this quote? These fields I can grab from the user record. And to grab it, I firstly need to get this user. So to get some record, one particular record, there is operator retrieve entity. So I put it here, and I'm looking for users. Here I need to define an ID of user that I'm looking for. Now I need an ID of assigned to quote user to put it into quote. Let's return at the beginning and check So this is place where we created quote. And here I have user ID, so I just pick up it and drop here in ID. And now from this user, I'm going to get values, not enough space. So full name, which is salesperson, title, and phone. Let it be office. No, there is no office phone. Phone, work phone. So put it here. That is what we pick up from user. Name, title, phone. Let's see what we have next. It's quote number and valid until. That is parameters for quote. We created quote here earlier, like where it is here. We created quote, we link it to numerous entities like groups and quote line items. So let's just retrieve this quote once more to get all calculation fields like grand total and so on are done by sugar. So I return to my filling template, and again I'm going to use retrieve entity, but now I'm looking not for accounts, I'm looking for quotes. And here again I need to specify an ID of quote, so I use get entity attributes and put quote here from any place where it's closer, it's here. So I pick up created quote and retrieve it one more time here, ID by ID, and let's fill values in the template by get entity attributes, and what I'm looking for is number, quote number, here's quote number, and valid until. What's next? It's account. Account I can get directly from lead. It's account name field, so just input it here. What's next? After account, there is a products table. Oh, so probably you may guess that products should be in some fancy table in our quote, and we can't predict how many products are there in this quote. So in this example, it will be 3 products, but then maybe 5, 10, 17, or how many. So we need to build so-called dynamic table. Let's do this right away here. First of all, we need to create this table. Where can I do this? I need to return back in my flow. Let me zoom a little bit and move creation quote line items here, because prior creation quote line items, I'm going to create a table. So I remove this relationship, not relationship, link to add new operator, create, not create entity, sorry, create table, yes. So put it into the flow, and in scheme I need to define headers of table. So there is table scheme, I put it here. So what headers this products table should contain? First of all, it's name, let me zoom, name, then quantity, then service start date, let it be just start date, then end date. What we want to have is price, of course, and discount and total. So that is headers of our products table, and now we are going to fill this table with rows by each quote line item that we created here. So after quote line item is created and linked to it to quote, we are going to use operator add table row. So put it here, and I need to specify table here that I have just created here. So pick up table and drop it here. And now I have all my headers like name, quantity, start date, end date, list price, 2 more to go, discount, and total. And now there is need to fill all these headers with rows. So how we are going to do this? By pick up quote line item. I believe it should be here in subject entity. And just pick up fields, name, and put it into quote name, into table quantity, start and end dates, start and date, service end date, list price, which is actually unit price, discount amount, and final it is total line item total. So that's it. That is how when product quote line item will be added to quote, it will be automatically added to the table. And finally, why we do all this? To put this table into the quote. So put it here. And what fields are left? It's subtotal, discount percent, discount amount, and total. All these fields are from quote, so I'll just pick up them, and here's my quote. I'm just connect values from quote to template. Discount total percentage into discount percent, discount amount, discount total into discount amount, and very final grand total. Grand total here in total. And let's check what few fields that are left. It's address, some address fields, and phone. So why are those fields here? So the quote should contain to whom this quote is prepared. And we do not force our leads to left address data on request form, but what we could do is to try to find in Sugar whether there is account by this name and try to fill this address data from account record from Sugar. So let's do this. Again, we are going to find account by name. So I'm using operator retrieve entities by attributes. Now I'm looking for accounts by name, and account name I can pick up here and release here. And I'm looking for street, billing street, put it here. And let's say that we are looking also for city, postal code, and country. And we want to combine all these three values into one line in quote. So again, I'm going to use concatenate strings and concatenate these values like city, then comma. So I put constant string, comma, space, then postal code, and again, comma, space, and finally country. And put it here. And finally, phone from account, which is office phone. I put it here. So that's it. We completed our template. And the final step, very final step, is to link operators here, because if we leave it as is, quote line items will be created, but email won't be set because there's nothing on completed path. So let's just link with retrieve account, with retrieve quote, and with retrieve users. And very final, we send email. So that's it. This all operators. Let's comment and say that this is send email. So that is visual presentation of our logic here, and now it's time to deploy it into Sugar. How can I do this? I'm going to flowchart section, save flowchart, give it the name. Flowchart is this visual presentation, so let's give the name like RFQEMS. Save, generate Sugar package. So here there is standard Sugar package. How I deploy it? I go to Sugar admin section, module loader, and deploy it like any other package. Upload, install, commit. That's it, and that is how this logic is deployed into Sugar. It takes some time, so just not to waiting. Let's do a short retrospective and take a look one more time at the flowchart to see what we have done here. So I'm at the beginning. It is our start element, very first, when something is changed in leads. Then we are checking whether this lead is new and requested product is EMS. If true, both of these conditions, we are creating quote. Just create, set some values into fields, including some constant values defined here and calculations, and save it. Then we create default group for quote, link it to quote obviously. Then we create table to show this table in the quote template, which we are going to send by email. We create quote line items by find all products from product catalog by category name. Then for each product, we create quote line item, save it, link to quote and group, and finally add quote line item to table. And very final, after quote line items are created, we send email to lead who left request, and also text is filled by template, and this template is filled by values from various entities, from quote, from account, from user, from quote line item, and so on. So let's return to Sugar. Module is installed, and I think it's time to give a try to this logic. So let me here I have it. So let's go. Oops, not here. Yeah, you saw my previous try. So let's go to site and leave a request. So NSA, last name, now email. Not to make mistake here. And account name that should be in the system. So if I remember correctly, it's something like this. And number of users that we are going to use in quotes. So let's choose something like 24 and create a quote. And now if you can see on the left, the bottom corner, the request is sending to Sugar to create a quote. Not the quote, to create a lead. And let's go to the Sugar update page. And so this is lead that is created. I see EMS request. Let's open this lead. And yes, I have two quotes. I will explain why. So we defined how we are going to name our quote. Sorry, let me just check RFQ EMS. So RFQ EMS, let's open it. Here is a quote in draft, quote number generated automatically by Sugar, not by us. Payment terms assigned to Jim Brennan, and also all products that are related to EMS product catalog. With service start date 2 days from 3 days from now, and with discount price by 20%. And let me check my email. That's weird. There's no email. Probably, okay, I will show just from some previous one. So Here's how it looks like. So field by template. Yes, thank you. Someone says that I made a typo in my address. Thank you so much, and thank you for your attention. But I can show from my previous, believe it's just the same. That dear first name, last name field by what I filled on the form. Uh, from users, there's title, name, phone number, and here from quote parameters, quote date, I forgot to in template specify the current date. I hope you forgive me as well this mistake. So the account, and also it was found account. So address is filled here, and this is how table looks like: name, quantity, start date, end date, list price, and so on, and filled by values of quote line items that were created during this request. And very final grand totals, obviously, grand totals of the quote. So that is how this mail looks like, how it looks in Sugar. And actually that's it. It works great. So let me return. That is all 5 steps, actually 4 steps we have done today. And that is how it is possible to configure and implement sending quotes in a seconds, and also get rid of manually entering data. And you can do it as well, because there is a 30-day trial period for Logic Builder. So just navigate logicbuilder.integrascrm.com and sign up and start your free trial. Also, I suggest you to watch on our website what other challenges we already addressed, like made your target list data driven, made validation on the forms, and so on. So I hope this configuration practice we discussed today brings you an idea regarding your business challenge. So if you have any questions, you may type them right now into questions section or chat, which is more convenient for you. Also, if you would like to, if you do not want to ask questions right now, you can reach me directly. I will be really happy to talk with you and answer all your questions. So do not hesitate to contact me. Thank you so much for watching and joining today. Have a good day, stay safe and healthy during these times, and hope to see you very soon. Bye bye, guys.